Now, police say Roof was caught in Shelby, North Carolina. That's a 4-hour drive from Charleston, South Carolina, where the shooting actually took place. Marley Hall joins us now from the scene of the shooting outside the church. Marley, good afternoon. Do us a favor. Take us through the chain of events, how things unfolded over the past 24 hours or so.
Well, since this tragedy occurred at about 9:05 p.m. last night, there has been tremendous sadness and disappointment here in this community. In fact, immediately afterwards, members of the community came together in prayer and held hands outside of the church to try to make their way through this tragedy and make sense of it somehow. And at the same time, officials launched a massive manhunt looking for the suspect, Dylann Roof, a 21-year-old white male. And officials have not given a motive for this crime, but Charleston's mayor, he calls it pure concentrated evil. And we know that the suspect was apprehended earlier today, and officials are now keeping him in custody. Here in this community, people are trying to move on. They are holding more prayer vigils, but they are resilient. This particular church is an historic church. It is one of the largest black congregations in the nation, and they have been the target of previous misfortunes. They have been targeted by arsonists. Back in the 60s, during the civil rights movement, they have received bombs and bomb threats, and they have rebounded. They were resilient, and I suspect they will do the same again.
Marley, you mentioned that the police have not released a possible motive for this shooting, but what do we know about the shooter? What have you learned?
Well, we know that he is 21 years old. We know that he is 5'9". We know that he is a white male. We do know that he has a previous criminal history. Court records show that he has a drug charge or drug felony case pending against him, also a previous trespassing charge. So we know that this is a person who has had brushes with the law before, and what he did was certainly violent and criminal, and authorities this morning do have him in custody.
And you know, this is a time when often you want to talk about the suspect, but what about the victims? What do we know about them so far? There were 9.
Well, we know that they were religious people. We know that they were congregants of this historic church. We know that one of them was a senator in this community, as well as a pastor of that church. We know that there is another woman who was a local track and field coach for. Much as we know so far pertaining to the victims, there are of course other victims that we do not know their identities, and officials say that they are withholding those names until all the family members have been notified.
And what about the investigation? Where do we go from here? What's next, Marley?
Well, we do know that some are considering this a hate crime, and as a result, there will be a federal investigation into this crime as well as one on the state level.
All right, Marley Hall, thanks so much.